Hoshana Rabbah Sameach Pit Katava, as we say. What's now here in Israel, it's dark and you can see the stars. It's not like on my background. And we are now welcoming in Hoshana Rabbah. It has just begun. And what's going on in Hoshana Rabbah is, I'm just giving a little introduction because it's such an auspicious time. We start on Rosh Hashanah getting judged. The first the first day for our soul, the second day for our body, and we get atonement on Yom Kippur. The judgment is sealed. First, we are written in a book of life, hopefully. Then we are sealed in a book of life on Yom Kippur. What happens on Hoshana Rabbah? Why do we say Pit Katava? That's when we receive the verdict. That's when it's Pit Katava means you should get a good note. That's if somebody is getting married and they send you a wedding invitation, but you never got it, how can you dance at their wedding? So therefore, the same thing is we need Hoshana Rabbah to receive the verdict of the judgment. So in that way, actually, there's still judgment going on now, and that is a bit of a contradiction because you're supposed to be happy on Sukkot, really happy. And how can you be happy if you know you're being judged? It takes a little bit off the happiness. It takes the edge off it. Well, better like shape up. I have to become the very best I can. I'm being judged. So the Rambam has two different halachot about, welcome. The Rambam has two different halachot about tshuva. In halacha, I think it's 6, Hilchot Tshuva, he says, when a person, first, before tshuva, a person is hated and abominable. After tshuva, he's close. And then in the next halacha, it says, before tshuva, a person is far away from God. After tshuva, the person is cleaving to Hashem. So Rav Moshe Rafal Luria explains that these two different Rambams, subtle differences, and why are there two different halachot for the same thing? It's not the same thing. The first tshuva, where the person is abominable before tshuva and close after tshuva, is the tshuva of Yom Kippur. The second tshuva is the tshuva that we also have to keep doing on Sukkot. And today is the last day for that tshuva. And as we know, this is the day of David HaMelech. And David HaMelech is the master of tshuva. And this tshuva is another inner layer of tshuva, much more refined tshuva. Before you were far away, now you're going to be cleaving. Not just going to be close like on Yom Kippur, you're going to be cleaving. And that kind of tshuva you can only do on Sukkot through happiness, cleaving to the Creator through bubbling over with happiness. Cannot even do that on Yom Kippur. So, and we're being judged on this day, the final day where we're being judged for how much water we're going to get this year. And in which way we're going to get it. Because there are Gishmei Bracha, the rain, the blessed rain that comes softly Friday night when everyone is in the synagogue or in the home. But then there are like harsh rain that comes like hail and destructive for the plants. So we're judged today how much rain we're gonna get, and also when we're gonna get it and how we're gonna get it. Because certain times are very beneficial for the crops, and other times actually, for example, before you harvest your crop, the rain isn't so beneficial always. if for certain crops. They can rot when they get too much rain in the wrong time. So therefore, today we cannot rave enough about how important rain is for us. This is the beginning that Hashem told when He created the world. It says, and the the plants had not yet come up from the earth because Adam was not yet there to la'avot et ha'adamah. Literally, it means to work the land, but figuratively, it means to pray for rain. La'avot avodah shebalev, the work in the heart. And so, this is how it's the most essential. Anyone who has lived in a place where there has been water shortage or like the water has been closed for like a few hours can really experience on our body how important and vital water is for our existence. If we don't have water, we can't do the dishes, we can't wash our hands after the bathroom, we can't drink. It's so essential. So this is the most important, and we're judged for that today on Hoshana Rabbah. And that is, there's different rituals that we do. And it's interesting. We, throughout Sukkot, we shake the etrog and the lulav and the hadassim, the myrtle, and the aravot, the willow. We shake them together. And all of them are known for being in unity. For example, myrtle, three leaves grow out of the same node. So that's a unity. For example, etrog, it grows from year to year. So it's the unity of time. Can stay on a tree for several years. And lulav, the way the leaves on the top of the lulav, they're together like that. The palm branch. And what about the Arava? And Hoshana Rabbah is really the Arava day. Yom Arava, the day of the Arava, the willow day. Because the Arava is the unity of the Arava is that they always grow in groups. All the willows, they naturally grow in groups, so they're united in a broader sense. They're not just united with themselves, they're united more wider with other willows. And it's interesting that the willow always grow, whether it needs the willow, it's called the willow of the brook. It grows where there's water. The willow is connected with water. The willow is the lips, and that is the lips and the speech that comes from the lips. It's connected with malchut, with kingship, kingdom, and that relates us back to King David, which is he is the heavenly guest that comes to our sukkah tonight and tomorrow, and he is David Melech Israel, the king of Israel. He embodies malchut, and so from all of the different four kinds. The Arava is seemingly the lowest kind because it has no smell, which represents mitzvot, and it has no taste, which represents Torah. Neither Torah, neither mitzvot. All the other three has various combination of Torah and mitzvot, but the Arava has none of the above. So you would think that the Arava is the lowest of all of the four. So why we need it at all? Who needs a Jew that has no Torah and no mitzvot? We need, actually, I always say, well, we need someone to receive. You can't teach to someone if someone already has everything. You can't teach to them. You need someone who is empty and wants to receive, is a vessel for the lights of the other ones. But there is more to it. Actually, the Lubavitcher Rebbe says that there's something even greater about what he calls the Arava Jew, the willow Jew. The simple Jew is a certain simplicity, like not so, not into without intellectual perfection, without emotional perfection. That's the mitzvot. There's the simplicity of just like receiving from Hashem, just unifying with Hashem. There's no ego there. There is nothing to have an ego about. And that's the greatness of the Arava and the Arava Jew. And so on Hoshana Rabbah, we take branches of the Arava and we beat it to the ground to symbolize that simplicity. And that's why we say Hoshana and go around the bima, go around the, I don't know how you say exactly bima in English, in the Beit Knesset where they put the Sefer Torah. The men go around it holding the aravot and then they beat them to the ground. And it's also a symbol of humility, like really just bowing down to Hashem. I have nothing, Hashem. Please, please judge me. And so this, when you have nothing, you can be bedveikut. Then that is the seal of the seal. That is what Hoshana Rabbah is. Dveikut, that means to cleave. Because when you have an ego, the ego, oh, I know so much Torah and I do so many mitzvot. So it comes between you and God. It can come between you and God that, feeling my own self-importance. And then you can't really cleave to Hashem. But when you are just a simple Arava with nothing of its own, like Malchut in the Kabbalah, it says, Leitla Magama Klum. Malchut, the lowest Sphira, the Sphira of kingdom, has nothing of its own because it's a vessel for all the other Sphirot to shine through it. And that is what the Arava is, has nothing of its own. So it can completely receive from the other three kinds, and it can cleave completely to Hashem. And so so in a way, women, we're a little bit like Arava because we don't have a mitzvah to learn Torah, and we are exempt from the positive time-bound mitzvot. The Arava is not complaining, why am I not a lulav? Specifically through her lack, we find the virtue of the woman. The Arava Jew who keeps mitzvot with simple emuna pshuta, with simple faith, is more in touch with herself and her neshama. And on Hoshana Rabbah, the day of Malchut, of kingdom, there is a unification of the upper and the lower waters. The upper waters is masculine, the lower water is feminine. And on this day, the lower feminine water rises, like before the sixth day of creation, beyond the Tzimtzum. The simcha of unification is greater than if the lower waters never had been held down. And this is the benefit of the light that emerges from the darkness. And so this is what is so special about the Arava and about Hoshana Rabbah, this humility, this simplicity, and this unification greater than any other unification that's been taking place all through the months of Elul, and as well as in the high holidays. So thank you very much. And that was just a little something for Hoshana Rabbah for all of us.